What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a full review for you of the uniquely shaped Motorola FLIPOUT. Let's see if this odd design translates to real-world utility. Let's get started. If you're interested in picking up one of these phones, be sure to check out the folks at clove.co.uk provide us with this review unit. It's going to set you back just shy of $370 US. It'll work on AT&T's 3G network. It'll work on most European 3G networks and Canadian networks as well. So pretty much work mostly where you are in the world as long as you have 3G GSM service. So I always start my phone reviews, the review of the phone itself. If it doesn't make good phone calls, no matter what the form factor looks like or features, it's not going to be that useful to you. Well, the FLIPOUT does indeed make very good phone calls. Signal strength is very strong on it as well. Ordinarily, where I got 3 to 4 bars of signal strength, the AT&T, this was pulling in 4 to 5 bars. Certainly, signal strength is not the best gauging using bars, but it is what we have in sort of the most obvious graphical representation. And this did a very nice job. In my 20 call test, I also experienced no dropped calls. So if you're in a fringe service area, chances are you're going to be able to pull in at least some sort of network search and be able to use your phone. So from a call quality standpoint, the FLIPOUT really excels. Alright, so now let's jump into the reason this guy's called the FLIPOUT. It's FLIPOUT design. So you go ahead and push this from the bottom right out to the top, and you've got access to what is surprisingly one of the better QWERTY keyboards on the market. The keyboard is very reminiscent of some of the older Motorola devices, more specifically the Motorola Q and sort of the Q9 and the Q9H and all the other Q devices that came out after it. It's a fantastic keyboard and works very well. There's a lot of keyboard throw. You can see there's a bit of beveling on the edges, so your thumbs can really tell where the keys are. I didn't like this sort of division bar down the middle. My thumb's often trying to hit it thinking it was a key. I did like the full top row of numbers. Made them very easy to sort of access and dial numbers if I didn't want to use the on-screen keyboard or using a calculator function. Just made it a lot easier. And due to this sort of flipping out design, you don't have any issues hitting this top row of keys with a lot of sliders. It's tough to hit this top row without hitting your thumb. Because of this form factor, it really made it nice and easy. I didn't like, however, this 4-way navigation. While it works quite well, it's not 5-way, meaning you can't select by pushing in. And I kept finding myself wanting to do that. That's what I'm used to on most smartphones. Instead, you have to sort of haul back over to the right side using this big enter key if you want to hit enter, something that you're going to have to get used to, in addition to a very small spacebar key. After about 4 days, maybe about 3 days-ish, I was hauling through using the phone. It became very easy to type on this thing, so it's going to take you, a half a week to a week to get used to it. Once you do, you'll be able to haul out your text and emails with relative ease. Let's go ahead and close this up and talk a bit more about the phone. So this guy is running Moto Blur, sitting on top of Android 2.1, which is quite nice. Certainly 2.2 would have been preferred, but 2.1 is actually more than I expected from a device like this. So looking at its sort of unique screen, you are going to be staring at a screen that is 2.8 inches with a resolution of 320 by 240. And that's really one of the biggest downfalls of the phone, is that screen resolution. Text does not look crisp at all. Let me give you a good example of what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and jump on into the browser, which, by the way, of course, is multi-touch. Here we have Techno Buffalo. You can't read any of that text whatsoever. You have to zoom in quite a bit to even get text to be readable. Even zoomed in right there, it's a bit hard to read. You can see it looks pixelated. You have to almost go in a bit more to where it's covering the entire screen to be able to read it. And that's really due to the resolution of the screen. I would have liked a much higher resolution on this screen. From a processor standpoint, it's not running the fastest processor in the world, but at 600-ish megahertz does haul it quite nicely. So it's not a slow phone. It's just really hindered by that low resolution screen. Let's go ahead and jump back. This is, as I mentioned, running one of the newer versions of Moto Blur, which sort of brings in all your social networking to Android. This one's not as obtrusive as earlier versions of Moto Blur. Primarily, I don't use most of it, but you have access to a ton of different widgets that you can sort of use to customize. Here you've got some calendar widgets you can pull in your Facebook, MySpace if you still use that, or what other social networks you use, and sort of aggregate all of your content. So it's a nice addition to the phone. You get a typical array of modal buttons here. Your three, you got menu buttons, home button, and a back button. So we talked earlier about the keyboard. That's not the only way to input text here on the phone. You actually also have an on-screen keyboard, which surprisingly for a phone this small was relatively easy to use. It's Motorola skinned, but it does work on this capacitive display, and surprisingly works well. And you can also, of course, use the speech-to-text feature of the phone. So overall, I found the phone to be surprisingly impressive. This is certainly not meant to be a powerhouse phone. It's not meant for a mobile professional. This is more of a feature phone with a smartphone OS. If you're a heavy texter and you want a bit of a better web browser, this is going to be a perfect phone for you. If you're looking for maybe some light emailing, be able to get your emails to come in, you're not going to do that much reading on the screen, you want sort of a small package, this is going to be a very good phone for you. If, however, you are a professional who relies on your phone quite a bit for reading a lot of emails, reading a lot of websites, a lot of multitasking and video viewing, this is not going to be the phone that you're going to want to choose. However, I don't think that's where this phone is targeted. If you were considering some feature phone OSs, this is going to be a great way to introduce you to the smartphone world and sort of give you that step up before you get to a really full, robust smartphone. This is a very good stepping stone. It's got sort of a cute design, it's small, it doesn't weigh very much. It's 3.1 megapixel camera on the back, takes decent pictures, so you're going to be able to do that. It's customizable, you can change the back color here, you have white, yellow, black. Battery life, you're going to very easily get through a full day. Just phone works pretty well. Its biggest hindrance, however, though, as I mentioned before, is a low resolution screen. But if that's not that important to you, this phone is going to be a very nice choice again for those entering or thinking about entering the smartphone world. So guys, I am John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to check out the website for all your tech news. And for more information on the phone, check out down below to the folks at clove.co.uk. For exclusive content, check me out at Twitter, twitter.com/John4Lakers. I'm John Rettinger, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.